Hello, welcome to the cabin. As you can hear, we're having a late fall thunderstorm, which is raging outside. So I lit some candles for effect, and so I could see. And we're about to read chapters 5 and 6 of book 3, Home is Calling, by Grandmother Gentle Bear. We know that October is Sasquatch month, and so this story fits right in with the theme. And of course, hot tea is ready. That storm is ferocious. I'll keep an eye on the creek too, because it's up really high right now. Yikes. Okay, we last left off when Grandmother Gentle Bear was telling her grandsons about creatures in the forest, half human, half animal, peeking through the windows at cabins and almost scaring people to death. And once they come around, they keep coming back. And she says, we'll make a plan to leave in a day or two. And they all agree. So chapter 5, planning our exit. We will take all the food and stores with us, and the winter shutters will be closed on the windows. All furs and hides will be packed into the canoes. The tree cache and the underground cache are emptied and brought into the cabin to see that nothing has spoiled. Some meat is wrapped in hides and some put in baskets. I'm excited about going to our home village and seeing all our loved ones. The boys, my grandsons, are impressed with the little cabin and the outdoor kitchen. They take turns telling me how proud they are to have a grandmother like me who can survive in the wilds alone, and they thank me for all the stories and lessons growing up, and that it has made them the young man that they are today. They're also impressed with how much food stores I have put away. And I told them how I ate fresh fish and berries and meat when I could, and that would save the preserved food stores. I told them how I thought about what if I get injured? I might not be able to hunt or cook. So I prepared for those what ifs. Being alone in the bush means you rely on yourself and all that you've been taught. It was great for the most part, but now I'm ready to leave, and home is calling. And with my grandson's help, this adventure is heading home. Jeez. Good tea. Oh my goodness, that storm. I haven't told them what's been happening. I'll save those encounters for another time. There's been activity across the lake, but we've decided to ignore them. That was a good one. But we've decided to ignore them and continue to take inventory of what we will take. Just then we hear water splashing and screams from the forest across the lake. Two large shadows cross near the creek and out across the valley meadow. The screams continue. Just like that thunder, goodness. Mixed howls and low-toned growls. It goes right through me. It's unsettling. We all look at each other and come to sit by the fire. The fear on their faces fades. At least they're on that side of the lake. Little Bear says, they sound like they're trying to talk to each other. Maybe they are. It sounds like some kind of communications. The day is turning into night, and night is becoming a scary time. We had a bit of a feast with all these extra food stores and big pots of tea. Good to hear. We're building up our strength for the adventure ahead. Little Hawk, my youngest grandson, is now being called Hawkeye. He's got a good eye, and he's watching out across the lake with binoculars and letting us know what's happening. He has a spot along the tree line where there's some brush for cover. It's near the cabin and the kitchen, and that way he's got some safety. When he's seen enough, he hands the binoculars to one of the other boys. Another tense night around the fire. The howling was more of a low-toned chant or grumbling. We spoke quietly of how maybe they are an ancient people. We've heard stories for many hundreds of years and beyond, but the stories I remember most are the ones told around the fire when the children were asleep. Absolutely terrifying encounters. People being watched, followed, chased, and even hunted. Many a hunting party came back full of fear and stories, and some didn't come back at all. Some were found torn to shreds with blood and bone everywhere. Some mangled and hung high in a tree, and some just vanished, never to be seen again. Women, children, mothers with children. When people disappear out of your life without a reasonable explanation, it can be hard to cope with the grief. The grief that leaves too many questions, mostly unanswered. She says, I need a cup of tea to settle my nerves. Chapter 6, Leaving This Place and Returning to Another. I know that some of you might stand your ground, but it's best to step aside for nature and let it take its course. Sometimes we interfere too much and upset the balance of things. I went to a zoo once. I didn't stay long, and I cried all the way. And long after we left, a memory I would forget if I could. A reminder that we are all connected and need to respect each other as living beings, animals, plants, and the unknown. Little Tree is up most of the night, keeping the fires going and keeping watch. Again, the howling and the screaming went on most of the night. And at one point, I thought I could hear whispering outside the cabin. I just laid here thinking that Limping Fox is long gone. I miss his alarm calls, his barks and screeches. The birds have all gone too. It's like some of the life has been scared away. Not a very happy place anymore. We are leaving in the morning. Story's getting good. Storm is just sitting right over top, coming off the lake. And that next morning couldn't come soon enough. I woke before sun to the dim light of the fireplace. All the boys were sleeping, but woke easily as I made tea and shuffled around. Handing them each a cup of tea and a piece of dried deer meat, I quietly said, "Get ready, boys. We're leaving at first light." In the gray glow just before dawn, we loaded the canoes with all we could. Small bits of dry fish and deer meat and berries were in our pockets and in small baskets. We left some on an old stump, some berries in a basket, some dried fish, some deer meat, as a gift or an offering, an understanding, in hopes that we could quietly slip away along the shoreline, then head over to the creek. Line walk the canoes loaded with supplies upstream until we reach the other lake before the river. The portages will be hard work and long traveled, and the paddling will be glorious. Oh, Blue Jays making an appearance. Each dip getting us closer to our home village. To put 2 more logs on the fire and to push away from shore, I won't look back, and I didn't. When we reached the creek and got out of the canoes, we roped our canoes for pulling, and then we gave one long, last look across the lake to see the smoke coming from the chimney in the cabin and the campfire near the kitchen. It was a good home to me, but I won't be back. I wonder if this is why all the people left this area many years ago. Maybe they have a territory. They meaning Sabe, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. As a large rock splashes into the lake near the mouth of the creek, and we all jump and look up the hill to see the hairy man looking right at us. We quickly look away and begin pulling the canoes up the creek, followed by a few loud knocks and blood-curdling screams. And silence. There's no silence here. It's storm. Oh. I felt like I was holding my breath and forced myself to relax and breathe. The boys talked a little and made a few hand signals to each other instead of speaking out loud. Our pace was steady and we ate along the way. If we could cross the next lake before dark, we could wake early for the first long portage. But pulling the heavy canoes up creek was tiring. So we set up camp at the edge of the next lake. Some called this Dark Lake, and it was. We slept out under the stars with hides to keep us dry from the heavy morning spring dew. And somewhere in the distance we could hear the howling and the screaming through the valley and the trees. Further away than at the cabin, but still frightening. We didn't sleep much that night, and again I thought I heard whispers through the trees. How could a place so beautiful turn so strange so fast? One day you're living your best life, and the next day you're fleeing for your life. And the lives of your grandsons, my rescue team, my heart. And here we are, another sleepless night in the wilds on the adventure of our lives. And the best part is that we're together to strengthen each other, comfort and reassure each other, and to protect each other, no matter what or who. The sun begins to rise as we push the canoes into the lake. Our paddles are quietly dipping and we feel our stomachs wanting tea and fish. We will eat later, and no fires for tea. We need to put distance on that map and keep going until we can't go any further and then stop. I'm so thankful for these strong young men. They will continue the ways and the knowledge long after I'm gone. They'll tell the old stories and teach the young for generations to come. It's late in the day when we reach the next portage. We're tired and hungry and need to rest. A fire for tea and warm up some dry meat and fresh fish. Sleep came easy just before dark, and we woke to hear drums somewhere in the distance. A light wind, its silence, then drums. It flows on the light breeze, then fades. Then we're startled by knocks, very close to where we're laying on the ground with our hides. A few logs are put on the fire, and we wait out the night in complete fear. The drums stopped hours ago, and the almost silence fear has gripped us and won't let us go. I don't know how much more I can take. It's exhausting and draining. The howls still echo at a distance, and one more tree knock close to us. The boys take turns keeping watch, putting wood on the fire with a few long branches in case we need weapons to protect ourselves and each other. I wouldn't want to fight a full-grown Sasquatch or a bear. And that is the end of chapter 6. Very good read. That storm just rages on. I'm going to finish off there for today. We'll do another reading next week, and hopefully they make it home safe and get away from these creatures. Thanks for stopping by for tea and listening to the old stories. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And remember to subscribe and like and share if you like, and leave a comment. One of the stories I read on here one day might be yours. And if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time there's a new video. Until next time, as always, be kind to nature and go out in the forest as often as you can. I better go check how high the creek water is. It might get flooded.